Yes, here we go. It's the T.N.F, the Thursday night forum, the night where we hand over the keys to the bus to use. It is the night where we'll be taking all your points that come in the comments and we'll be trying our best to answer them with as much wisdom and, as much reasoning as possible. I'm sure there'll be a few debates along the way. It's obviously been a bit of a feisty week in Planet Celtic, but I've got a wee star-studded lineup to join me tonight, which is always good. We tend to go with 4 of us on the bus when it comes to the T.N.F, and I know tonight will be a busy night in the chat because I know we didn't get as many comments as we would like to have went through last night. Me and the judge kind of just went on for an hour and 36 minutes, pretty much in our element, getting to have that rant at Celtic PLC. Anyway, before we do that, we will say hello to everyone that's on. Regan, how are you, son?
I mean, I'm doing well. It's great to be back on again. I don't think I've been on a Thursday in a while, actually, so it's good to be on a Thursday.
Well, you've not, but since you've moved into that new flat, mate, I heard you've not got a bedtime anymore, so you're just up till all hours, mate, causing mischief. That's what I've heard, anyway.
I mean, and I'm glad I've sorted the echo for people that watched on Sunday as well. So, no, I'm looking forward to being on the show, mate.
Oh, well, it's great to have you on a Thursday night, mate, and more of that, please. Connor Carr, back on the bus, mate. You love a Thursday night rant.
I do, I know. Mark's wondering, fuck, he's going to come in and steal my thunder now. Sorry, I've not been on much recently, lads. I've been spending my precious time making a fucking voodoo doll of Peter Lawwell, so, we're getting ready to stick into that, right?
Good. Judge, long time no see.
There's storms bigger in Jupiter that couldn't steal my thunder, and I mean Connor. But other than that, I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking, Bhoycie. How are you, mate?
Oh, jamming, mate. Oh, good. Life's great. Life's just a great wee place to be involved in, mate. Life is good. There's loads of good things about life that we just didn't appreciate enough. So, no, life is all good, mate. All jamming. And look at this to kick off the show. San Francisco Celtic just comes right out the traps and gifts out 5 Bhoycie Bus memberships. Just like that. San Fran Celtic right in there. Nice one, mate. We really appreciate that. And I'm sure those who are on the receiving end of said memberships will be very happy as well. It's $1.99 a month. The content is always free, but you can be a member like Jim C, like Balls to the Walls, like San Fran Celtic himself, like Jim Dolan, like Stephen Murdoch, Tattoo Face 77. There's loads of yous. Obviously, as well, the most important thing is do make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a wee like, give us a share. There's always like here. And remember to head over the next time you're watching the bus. Have a wee tasty treat on us. Well, not quite on us, but we're 12.5% off. Anyway, the full price, and that is by going to piesports.com, ordering your pastry delights, and getting a wee tasty discount at the checkout by using the code BUS1880. Anyway, enough of all that.
Have the crust on us.
See if you see a buy one get one free offer. We're the free one.
Yes.
We provided the free one. Anyway, we will just get stuck right into it. Obviously tonight, as I say, it's the T.N.F. I need your comments in the live chat to give us talking points, but you don't want to just keep going on over old ground. There may be fresh questions that come in that would be brilliant to discuss. We're obviously always open to that, and that is what the forum is all about. Brings the bus together. We'll kick off though with a question that I missed bringing up last night, Mark, but I've kind of pre-warned you a bit. I can't remember who posted it, but I didn't have a chance to actually go into it last night, but I thought it was a good question. Regan, since it's your first Thursday in a hell of a long time, if not ever, I'm going to come to you first and put you right on the spot because there is no hiding places on the T.N.F. The question that was posted in the live chat last night, I thought was brilliant. And it was, okay, let's say you were at the AGM and you had one question. What would that question have been? And why, obviously?
My question would be about the transfer record. The fact that the transfer record was broken years ago and we've still not went over that as well. I would also talk about the fact that Chris Sutton was bought for $6 million 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we were still scared to spend that money with all the money in the bank. And I would quit.
23 years ago, Chris Sutton,
Yeah.
23.
Sorry about that, Russell. But I would just say that surely there needs to become a point where we actually rebrand as a club and say that what we want to do well, because Brendan Rodgers said in his first press conference, I'm going to go back to it. Brendan Rodgers said in his first press conference, I want to do well in Europe. Now, if he wants to do well in Europe, no disrespect, but he's not going to do it with Bernabei or a Lager Bielka. You know, he needs to be properly backed with players that he wants in the Celtic squad. And as much as fucking go, the most important thing is to be ahead of Rangers. Well, I'm sorry if that's the only thing that gets you out of bed in the morning. Fair play to you, but for me, it's the fact that we want to be competing in Europe as well, and we also want to be a model for different clubs as well. You look at Ajax, Benfica, even Red Bull Salzburg. These clubs that buy and sell players, but they also then bring in players of £12 million, £15 million to see when they let go a big player that they can then replace. But then we replaced Jota with a £2 million project, as Brendan said. And Brendan actually said yesterday, well, we need to trim the squad and bring in proper quality. So I would actually ask the board what is proper quality to them, because to me, proper quality is no sending a guy at £1 million and hoping that he's a good player. It's bringing in somebody with pedigree that the manager's identified.
Spot on.
And I think in terms of Celtic is a board that have ran it very well, but they also need to look at it as well and say, right, well, why is it that we're always failing every time we go into Europe? And I know folk will say, well, we beat Aberdeen 6-0 the following game, but I would also say that as well, that in terms of European level, I don't think we should. I'm not saying that we should go out there and get to semi-finals and stuff. What I'm saying is that we should be prepared, and if the manager sees players that he wants, back him. If Brendan Rodgers wants a guy at £12 million, tell him, okay, we'll go and sign him.
I think that's absolutely fair. So the recruitment policy is what Regan would want to bring up. Why is the manager not able to identify his own target? I think Brendan was very much on board with the supposed strategy, or at least he's saying that on message. I certainly hope he's not. I want the old Brendan, like the one who went, no, we're doing, you want your club to do well? I'll show you how it's going to do fucking well. We're going to get X, Y, and Z, and then I'm going to coach them. I'm going to get the team playing in a certain manner, and we will pick up results along the way. We will get domestic bliss absolutely nailed, and in Europe we might try and make a fist of it. Not that his last efforts were the best ever, but we all know that his initial recruitment attitude was then kind of laughed upon by the board midway through his tenure, and certainly towards the last window as well. Connor, I'll come to you, mate. You've got one question at the AGM. It's time to stand up and be counted.
If I was there, they wouldn't be getting a question. They'd be getting fucking put in a position where they wouldn't be able to back down. At the end of the day, these fuckers are not. They could give politicians a run for their money. They're that slimy and sleek-it and sneaky that they can worm their way out of any proposed question to them, because they've got that experience doing that. And you know what these kind of people are like. These fucking Tory bastards are just running this club into the fucking ground with things like this, because we're not as connected to the club and in that kind of sense as we would like to be. We should all be singing for the same hymn sheet or spreadsheet if you're a certain Sky Sports presenter. But it's really, and it's mental. You can't. The fact is, right, is it's a bit of a thing we'd question, because us guys, us here, the average supporter, the guy who goes to the games in the piss and rain, or Regan who has to sit there in the facilities for people who are disabled, which are not up to fucking stuff, by the way, sitting there in the piss and rain, freezing cold, watching his fucking team. We'll never get the chance to ask these fuckers these questions. We won't, because they look at us like we're shit in the end of their shoe. They do not care about us. Celtic is just a passion project for them. I use the word passion very loosely there, because if they did, you want to put as much money into it as possible to try and get the best out of it, and they don't. They want to
What
just
was the
keep
question?
I've got a
I like
question,
Lowell.
why are you so fucking shite? What can you ask these guys? Honestly, like you could come up with as many points as you want, right? As that boy yesterday, the other day, it said Peter Lawwell's track record. You know, wanted Stephen Fletcher, and as a striker, we got fucking Milo Flood, appointed Lenny in the shivers, XYZ. But because he doesn't put that little tiny caveat in the end of it, is insane. What makes you think you're qualified? What's this? What's that? They'll worm their way out of it. These people are just so clever. There's this clip of Gordon Ramsay going about the internet talking about a guy who he had some business with him or something. He goes, "Oh, you fucker, but you clever fucker." That's the board. They're too fucking clever and sleek it for their own good. It's a fox's den. They're so sly and they know exactly what they're doing. Like if I had I'm sick of reiterating the same point. I'm sure Mark is as well. The only way that this club is going to get changed or move in a positive direction is when all these fuckers die. And the problem is there's nepotism there. There's nepo babies in that boardroom, in that club, in the infrastructure, dealing with it. They're generations after it. If you don't think Mark Lobel has a son, right, who comes up loving football and being involved in the business and all that he's going to get involved in it as well. And his son and Desmond's son and Michael Nicholson's son, then you're living in fairy tale land. You're living in cloud cuckoo land, as Roy Keane would say, because this isn't gonna stop, in my opinion. The only way these people are going to feel it is if you hit them with a heart in their pocket, and we're too much of a loyal fan base to do that. So it's a catch-22. Because we know for a fact, right, that we'll never walk out on this club because Celtic means that much to us. And we want to see us do well. We want to beat the Iran bastards who are in Govan. You know, we want to stick it to the SFA, who constantly give decisions against us and who we know are biased. And we want to try and make history and be the most successful football team in the world and all this stuff. But you can't do that if you're walking away from the club, you're walking away from the team, you're protesting. If you're not going to the games, you're hitting them in the pocket. And it's really sad. It's a sad indictment. We're very much stuck between a rock and a hard place. And it's where the board want us. They've got us right in the palm of their fucking hand. And it's really sad. The only way that we could do anything is as if we just had like a mass walkout, like kind of similar to what happened in the 90s. That'll never happen now because we've got titles in the line. Mate, I've not got a question, mate. If I was in the same with Peter Lawwell, I'd skull fuck the man. He has fucked this club for fucking dusk till dawn since the minute he walked in there. Honestly, I would go to jail for the things I would do to Peter Lawwell. And look, I've got a face like a wanted poster and a body like a dropped lasagna. I'll be fine in jail, right? I'll be fine in jail. Don't worry about me, lads. But I'm not. I'm joking, right? I'm not wishing any harm on these people and whatever. But the things they have done, right? The ineptitude they've showed in terms of running this football club, is you would be sacked if it was us doing any of your jobs. You'd be sacked on the spot.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fair. Mark, do you have a question for the board?
I think I'm the only person that's understood the question. I think I would ask him what the stumbling point is. What is stopping the club for pressing the button on the next level of success? What is stopping them? There must be a barrier. There must be a glass ceiling. And if I was to get a straight answer for them, if that's the deal, ask a straight question.
Or this panel.
Don't ask that. Don't ask any stupid questions again. For fuck's sake, listening. But anyway, I would just ask him what the stumbling point was. What is it that's stopping you for giving the fans success? Because before it was lack of finances, but now we've got a financial structure that we can afford to go to an Ajax level, and we're refusing to do it. So my question would be quite simple. Whoever's making the decisions, what is stopping you? Because there's a mantra within our club that we won't, no matter how financially secure we are, go to the next level. And I want to know what's the virus inside the system? What is it that's stopping it? And can we get it out?
I like that, because that would lead to probably a lot of, to be honest with you, what Connor's saying, though, a lot of back away. It would be the way. They would probably try and go, well, the elephants in the room, look at Everton and stuff like all that nonsense that we were discussing last night.
If we were to assume that we're going to be getting in, if it was a hypothetical one question, I think Connor's right. You would get, in fact, put it this way: see the way Connor answered your question. That's the question. That's the way they'd answer. No, I don't mean funny. It would just be full of,
Jesus Christ,
rabbit holes and just shit everywhere. You just want to get an answer for these guys, and we're fed up with it. But assuming in a different universe we get a proper answer, I would ask them that question. If it at all, they would answer it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, if it were me, I would just say, looking at the board, I would just say, why did you say you were, or why did the club appoint you as a non-executive chairman and now call you chairman? I think because that leads to, I think, a million other talking points, because I think that then leads to, how are we meant to believe anything that you say isn't propaganda or isn't something that is from an angle of deceit? Because that's what that was. It was an angle of deceit that they used by labelling him the non-exec. And I would just say, how have we fast-forwarded 11 months and you're now the chairman when you were appointed as non-exec? And why wasn't an announcement made that your position had changed? The reason is, of course, because it was never changed. He was appointed as chairman. And I think that then opens eyes to fucking listen to every answer they give you. And remember that they started off, those guys there started off this year on a lie. And I think that then leads to then more scrutiny on the various other answers that they give to every other question that then gets aired. And that would be my sort of plan of attack if I were doing it. There's been obviously a hell of a lot of comments coming in on the live chat. We've got over 100 live members. Smash that like button, all that stuff. Ben comes in, Regan, he wants to know what's happening with the GB. The GB have obviously today kind of announced a very heartwarming, heartfelt welcome the players to the club at the Celtic Way at 1:45, I think was the time, at 1:30, something like that. Obviously, that's their first card being played in terms of this is the action that they spoke of conducting if there hadn't been a resolution by what will be the 25th of November. And this is them now playing a card to go, we were serious, there's going to be movement here. And they're doing it in that sort of, welcome the team, hey, we're not just like, but clearly there is I don't want to use the word threat because I think that sounds a bit dramatic, but there's an underlying sort of word of caution underneath that to say, like, we did tell you if you've not got a resolution, you've not engaged in dialogue with us, by the 25th, we will do something of note. And I think right now they're dressing it up as obviously just welcoming the team. My hunch is that will lead to something else. I don't know what, whether it be a full-out blown protest, but they're certainly going to let their presence be felt. Ben wants to know what's happening with the GP. What do you think is going to happen this weekend? Because as it stands, Regan, that hasn't been resolved, and therefore they would still not be given access to Celtic Park. With that in mind, and them not be given it the access to Celtic Park, does that then mean that when they're saying they're going to welcome the team, there may be an element of that? Do they mean something more?
I just hope it doesn't put a damper on the football being played, because that's the most important thing. I just hope they don't make it all about themselves, and I just hope we can focus on Celtic being a good, putting on a good show against Motherwell on Saturday. Because one of the things that these, I mean, I'm all for these guys having free speech and doing what they want, but I think the most important thing, I don't know if you guys all agree, but the most important thing is that Celtic play well on the park. So I hope that they get a resolution to what they're looking for. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to happen, Russell, because I mean, I just go along there to watch the football, and I mean, I think sometimes these guys take it a bit take it a bit too far as well. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but it leads to, Regan, what we've got right now, which is warfare right now between. I don't mean that. That's probably a poor term in the current climate. I take that back. But it's led to there's a between the two camps. There is a hell of a lot of bad blood between them. Do you know what I mean? There's a bad vibe between both the GB and the club. The largest sort of supporters faction. That's like a supporters group, if you like. And then you combine that with the board who hold all the aces. But obviously, when they're locked out, they're going to do something to try and react that, and they're getting a hell of a lot of love for doing so. We were talking about it last night. I think it's probably swayed into the GB's favour after the AGM. I think, again, that leads to such a poorly timed decision by the board, which I've always said, for all its merits, and for all the points that were relevant, if it took you 2 years to come up with it, why do it on the back of Palestinian flags? Like, it gives them that sort of weapon to go. It's because of the flags. Secondly, why do it around the AGM time? Because you're never going to come out of that smiling like roses. That's backfired. Yes, they've got the decision-making power, Regan, right, to ban them from the ground as such, but they're doing it on a backdrop of things that I think make them actually their position look weaker. And I know you're wanting a resolution because it will benefit the team. But as it stands, there isn't one. So where does that leave them going forward? And how do we reach an impasse on this and some sort of reconciliation, some sort of compromise where the stadium's full again, people who've bought tickets can go to the game again, and the board don't get hated on as much once they do return? Because if they were to return this Saturday, for example, we know it'd be 90 minutes of focused energy at the board with regards to the chants. That ain't healthy either. So I don't know how how there's a win-win out of this one, pal.
No, I agree with you, and I think, well, like you're saying there, probably social media has had a big impact on swaying towards the Green Brigade as well. And I think it's a difficult one because, well, like you said, the Green Brigade are singing songs for 90 minutes. It's a great impact on the squad as well. So it's one of the ones where I just hope they can bring some sort of resolution soon. I know you're talking about the 25th of November to speak to the club. I just hope that something can be sorted out because we don't want it dragging on into January, February time where there's still this, I don't know what you call it, but there's some kind of, I don't know what to say also, but I just feel like I just want it done as soon as possible because it's no good for anybody. Everybody wants these fans there, and I just hope something can be sorted.
Well, absolutely. Demolition comes in. He says, "You seem to be in the middle here, Bhoycie." I've kind of professed to be exactly that. Whatever happened to Free Ireland? Curveball Demolition. It's a bit of a curveball, mate. Different talking point. I don't think I'm going to go into the show tonight.
Oh man,
I'm not quite. I don't even know how to answer that. But I am probably a bit in the middle on it. I can't deny the first part, but whatever did happen to Free Ireland, I'll definitely be thinking about that later. Connor, the GB, where do they go?
There's a phrase that comes to mind when I'm thinking about the stuff for the Green Brigade, and it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Because some guys in this pod, don't agree with a lot of things the Green Brigade do. I'm part of the younger generation where the Green Brigade's kind of been this ever-present force, as it were, in the Celtic support that I can, remember. And they do a lot of good work in terms of charity and tifos and atmosphere and stuff like that. So much so to the point now where it almost kind of seems like they are the atmosphere. And I'm not saying that, right, you can go back, oh, there was atmosphere before the Green Brigade. Nobody's denying that, right? Obviously there fucking was. But now, they are so much the focal point of what goes on in Celtic Park. When there's games on, when they're singing, da-da-da, and the boys as well. And now they have, off their own backs, decided to, abdicate and leave in solidarity with the Green Brigade. So the atmosphere, I don't want to take a hit because it can affect players. You come to a stadium, you're there for a year, you win a league title or treble, and the fans have sung your name. They've been absolutely incredible for 90 plus minutes, for a full season. Then halfway through your second season, stops, boom, done. You're like, what the fuck? What's going on? That's where I take the issue, right? I don't want this to impact results in the park. I was there when the whole shit with Bernard Higgins was going on, and they did a silent protest. That was actually the very first time that I seen Bhoycie in person. I say this quite a lot. I just remember that happening that day. I seen it at one of the kiosks. And
Sorry.
the atmosphere...
That's kind of if they sold pint shit, do you know what I mean? Fully falling about the place.
Fucking needed it after that game, man. But the atmosphere was shocking. It was bad. Like, nobody sang, nobody did cheer the team on. And the reason is because it's all based around the Green Brigade. Whether you agree with that or not, it's a fact. It's a fact that they are the conductors, as it were, of the singing, the atmosphere, all the rest of it. So you take that away, nobody really knows what to do anymore. People, I know, would be hesitant to do it off their own back if the Green Brigade weren't there. And that's not to say that it's right, but I just think that now that I was under the impression that during this international break, the board would take the time to speak to the Green Brigade, but we don't know if that's happened or not. Could have done.
It doesn't look like it has.
No,
it doesn't
no,
look like
no.
it has. And I actually agree with you. I think that's a damning indictment on the board. Whether they want
You had
to
time.
engage
You had
with
time.
these people or not.
2 weeks or a week to discuss with what's going on, come to some sort of arrangement, and get things back to being amicable. We all know that the Green Brigade and many Celtic sports. In fact, let's give a wide, analysis. 99.9% of the Celtic support don't like the fucking board. None of us do. If you're one of these pricks that says you like the board, I won't take a flying fuck to yourself, because you don't, and I don't think you're a proper Celtic fan if you like this board, right? There's an opportunity there to come to an agreement and sort this out, squash this beef, get rid of it, do whatever. The media's eyes, the world's eyes are on this, conflict now. It's because of the shit that's going on with Palestine. And it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good in the Celtic board, doesn't look good in them as a club. And it's really bizarre, because the Celtic board are the first ones, to pump out shit saying, oh, well done for the atmosphere today, lads. We've just cuffed Rangers 4-0 in a cup final, and there's been flares and all sorts, and tifos and that going off, and you have the giant tifos, Willie Maley and Jock Stein and that, and standing the shoulders of giants and shit like that. There's hundreds of stuff, and and they'll take the pictures of that and put it on social media and be like, that's great, well done for your support today, lads. And then as soon as they stand up for something they believe in, see, before all this war shit, the Green Brigade were putting out pro-Palestine messages and that way before all this kicked off. Pro-Palestine flags, Palestine banners, all the rest of it.
There's no Palestine, Connor. You can't just say it's Palestine when they broke into stadiums. When they were told not to do things.
I was about to go into
No,
that.
you can't. Look, they can't just kid on it's Palestine because Palestine's this, beautiful wee smoking gun that makes every other piece of shit that they've done makes that taste a bit better. We can't just pretend that all that stuff didn't happen, Connor. This is
Does that
this
not
is what people are
re-emphasise
saying.
how ill-timed it was, Mark? That's my point on it.
They've gave folk who want to say it's the Palestine stuff, they've gave them ammo. You know what I mean? And I can't believe that
Totally agree.
people that are the board think we're stupid, but the Green Brigade think we're stupid and all. By everybody's saying, oh, the club banned them because no, you can't break into stadiums. You can't literally tell a fan base and on a statement that we do break stadium rules when we want to do it. That was why. And by the way, see all the accusations they've been given against them. They've released 4 statements, and seeing these 4 statements, guess how many times that they've denied them? None. If that's not enough for you, I don't know what is enough for you. Just quickly on the Green Brigade, right? 1:15 is the thing for the team bus arriving. I think Bhoycie's right. They'll be there for a presence. I think they made a bit of a boo-boo because, well, in fact, they're not made a boo-boo. They gave no till Saturday. So I think Celtic, if they've had Kerrydale Street open for the last year or so, I think they might close Kerrydale Street to cars and start letting people inside the road that's only got match tickets, which you might see a wee bit of police presence, might cause a bit of problem. It might play into the Green Brigade's hands. It might lead to protests. It might lead to a wee bit of trouble. I think best case scenario for the Green Brigade, they'll see a rise up in support to them right in front of the main stands doors where the board can see it. They want the visual representation of the Celtic supporters backing them. Now, if anything gets rid of the board, and I would stand with the Green Brigade, I'd stand on their shoulders and I'd wave their flags. I'm with them. I don't think that is going to happen. I think if anything, it's just going to make a divide with the board and the Green Brigade stronger if anything happens on Saturday. There's only let's get one thing right. Abdi's saying that the board need to resolve this, right? So there's strict laws that the board asks you to do when you go to the match, right? There's only one party that's broke the laws, and that's the Green Brigade. There's only one party that's so the Celtic kind of say, do you know what? We've spoken to Motherwell and we've said to Motherwell, okay, next time we've got a match with you, we're going to break in through your fire exits. We're going to stand on the stairs. We're going to invade the pitch because we've told the Green Brigade because they sing songs and they are the 25-year-olds.
The pitch invasion was only because Motherwell fans invaded the pitch for the equaliser.
No, but Connor, it's not that we can only talk about Celtic and the Green Brigade here. We're saying that the board have got to mention these things. Standing on stairs, that's all right for you, Connor, that can go up and down stairs, no bother. But see if you're somebody Phil's dad's age or my dad's age or somebody like Regan who try to get out there in an emergency, you're fucked. I mean, just because, listen, I'm with the Green Brigade to get rid of the board. There's no anybody that hates the board more than me. Believe me, I'm on board with it. Trust me, I don't like them. I think we win trophies in spite of their meddling, not because of it. But just please, next time anybody thinks it's all about the Palestine, I think you've been very cute and clever in your argument because
no, it's not. The Green Brigade are arseholes, right? The Green Brigade have done really, really bad things, right? Nobody's denying that.
Singing songs, Connor. See, I might not sing songs match, but see, because I might not sing songs and wave flags and the rest of it as much as the Green Brigade do, Bhoycie. But you can't turn around and say because they do that, it gives them carte blanche to break the rules. So because I buy all the strips and I go to the matches and the rest of it, does that give me right to walk up and maybe abuse the kiosk staff or no pay for my drinks at the kiosk or maybe vandalise the stadium? No, it doesn't. I'm under the same rules as anybody that goes to the match. No, and I don't understand why. You are right, Bhoycie. The Green Brigade, the club have gave the Green Brigade the ammo they needed by saying it's about the Palestine stuff because any Celtic fan, any moral person knows what's happening in that country. So
let's look at what you're saying, Mark, because I think it's very important to bring balance to this because I actually think you're right. I think Celtic have a list of crimes, again, is a bit dramatic, but for want of a better word, a list of
it's a rap sheet.
Offences. Let's call it offences that they can stand and say the Green Brigade are guilty of. But sadly, they've chosen it to be around the time where it is the flags. I'm sorry, that is a terrible decision-making process because See, the thing is not. Let's just be real here when it comes to the Palestine stuff. This is a very emotive subject. This
Yeah.
is one where things do really kick off how people feel. It's going to bring out emotion that isn't always there, and it's going to make people think it is aimed around that because it's such a monumental thing that's happening on planet Earth right now. Okay, so the timing of it. If you've got this, list and this big black book of offences, you either what was keeping you from doing it before? Firstly. Secondly, if you've held off this long and some of these offences date back, as you've said, not just a year, maybe a couple of years, why not then just hang off till maybe this situation's died down? Then hit them with that list. See, by not doing it then, you are right. The thing may well not be just about those flags, but by God, given it at that time, that ban at that time, I think we've got to be honest on that one and go, well, if people are daft enough to believe in Peter Lawwell as a non-executive chairman, the Green Brigade will be acutely aware that people will be daft enough to believe it's just on the flags. And I can kind of get that point of view as well. That's on the board. They're paid to make these decisions, Mark. A fortune, as we discussed last night, and they've got it painfully wrong. The timing is the key here. If they've got these monumental reasons that they've listed up, then fucking hell don't do it over, at the time of the flags. And don't do it if you've got any self-awareness around the time that there's an AGM coming up. Fucking hell.
I think they tried to use the AGM as a way to... They were probably hoping the bigger issues like the Green Brigade and the Palestine stuff would probably overshadow the financial figures, and they get away with no spending money. But see the stuff, I listened to The Cynic. It's a great podcast, and they had a Green Brigade member on it. If I go back and check, that's on Spotify. And he said that the kind of clear the air talks were made in summertime. I think the club got a lot of things off their chest. The Green Brigade asked for things that they feel like they should have been given, and there was a kind of like a line drawn underneath.
Like a stand?
I think, well, they actually said that. He said that there was supposed to be a meeting about that, and that the club just batted them off. I'm glad the club batted them off, but in the same breath, you can't treat guys that way. You either give them an answer or you give them a timeline. You can't just bat them off. He deserve better than that. They give a lot to the club vocally, and like the rest of us, they deserve a voice. So I'm with the Green Brigade that way. Give them an answer or give them a timeline. Don't ignore them. But I just think that, so a line was drawn. The last offences we've seen this season, Bhoycie, on that rap sheet, was this season alone. You know what I mean? So there was sort of like, I think that, and deep in amongst Celtic's statement, there was Celtic were due to hand in a report to the council about safety fears, and you'll notice that on the report it was due about a week before Celtic's statement. So I think the Celtic have been given a wee bit of a bad score on that front, because the Motherwell game, I mean, and anybody that knows the North Curve, it's closed off. You can't get in that stadium unless you've got a purple pass, a purple ticket. Well, it's fucking blue, but they made an arse it. And but fans have been seen getting in there, and fans have been seen getting out of there and walking across the concourse, breaking the rules and all. That's not a big deal. Nobody's got to die with that action. But I'm just saying, like, say, that safety fears have been put out of the place for this. I don't think flares are a big issue, but they're banned for a reason, Bhoycie, and things like that. And you can't, breaking one rule or flaunting rules is all right. I mean, we understand that. I mean, I've took a can into the stadium before, Bhoycie. I heard the guy mention that. So I've took a can.
You rascal.
Well, I've done it. Well, it was actually a bottle.
It gets low. Ban Marc Cairney. Ban the bastard.
See, I don't care. So I'm the angel. I mean, I'm the angel. And I'm just saying, like, there's safety.
You're the devil on
like,
the Bhoycie Bus's shoulder, aren't you, Mark?
Of course. But that's the thing, like, so that's been kind of missed out and all on Celtic's statement is, I don't think they just lied and said the council had to give them, that they had a health and safety report. I'm pretty sure that if you checked up on the council website, it probably would be the Celtic had to give them a report or vice versa. I think you can check it out if you want to, freedom of information, etc. So it's just, I think it's all came at one time. I think Celtic stupidly have asked the fan base not to do the Palestine stuff. See, Celtic never asked them to do that, and it happened. There would have been less of a focal point on Celtic banned him for that reason. But just for clarity, like say, I'm not in favour of any member of the stadium to get banned. You buy a ticket, you deserve to be there.
Yep.
I think the only way we can go forward with this Green Brigade stuff is, just for the reasons I've just said there, boys, the club can't move their stance.
Yeah.
They can't move their stance.
But they can enter into dialogue, pal.
They've got to be the ones to say, look, right, let's speak. Of course they have voices because the Green Brigade can't turn up, but they don't
Let's
just
be
chat with
real.
one size
Let's be
Michael.
real.
They've got to.
So it has to be an adult decision made, and they've had 2 weeks to do that over the international break.
Do you know why I think that is, Bhoycie?
Go on.
I think sometimes it's like you gave the way in a week, grounded for a week, and you're drawing it out. You know what I mean? You're not giving
Which is
them.
patronising in itself.
And you're just trying to take them to the brink, Bhoycie. Let them miss a few games. Let them miss. They've missed Tynecastle. So they've missed home games against Aberdeen, which is a big game for Celtic. Home games, and I think Motherwell. That'll probably be the end game. That'll be the last game. Motherwell. I think there'll be talks after that. I think Celtic are just trying to prove a point that their powers are probably a lot further than what the Green Brigades are. But
I know what you mean.
It's not going to be solved until the club allow dialogue, as you say. But I think the biggest change in opinion has to come for the Green Brigade, boys, because the club can't allow these fans, no matter who they are, to do what they want, because it's a monster they created.
I get that side. But whilst they curry favour, the sensible option to me, if I were in charge, would be to enter into dialogue and try and nip the situation in the bud. As you rightfully pointed out last night with me, it escalates and it looks like a bad week on the board as it is. Regan, let's get back to the footy. Motherwell at the weekend. But when Motherwell line up, Danny Gordon in the chat comes in. Brilliant to have you on the bus, Danny. Not a familiar name. Brilliant to have you on. He says, hail, how many £12 million plus players do you think we have in our squad at present? And in what positions do we need to recruit further potential £12 million sort of rated players? On you go, Regan.
I think probably Matt O'Reilly, probably Rio Hatate, if you could get money for him. Probably Kyogo and all.
Yep.
I think that's probably it.
Kyogo. Yep.
Aye. And I think that's probably it. So I'd probably say the three. Kyogo, Matt O'Reilly.
Could Callum McGregor, still at 30 years old, command 12 million plus?
Aye.
I think so. In English football terms, oh, come on, yeah, he could. An English team that's sort of that bottom half, if there was a chink of availability, 12 million is chump change, guys. That's what they spend it like on Ross McCormack, remember, 10 years ago.
His contract was 5 years, isn't it? Maybe.
Yeah, I think 12 million you could still get for Cal McGregor if there was I think what maybe you two guys' faces is it ain't going to happen. We get that. But if push came to shove and there was an interested party, a Celtic were willing to sell, you would get over 12 million for Cal McGregor.
I agree with you.
Probably.
You definitely would.
Maybe just.
I think so. I think it's worth that.
But your take is on a Scottish prism. The market that's buying it is a completely different one, Mark.
I don't think the market though has that much money. They've had that money for fucking donkeys. They've still no gears it. No, really.
Well, I think there's two sides to that. I think it's quite well known that was the guy that Brendan wanted it when he went to Leicester, and I think there was some sort of hush about that basically Callum McGregor didn't want to go, and it never really got made overly public. But I think undeniably, if there had been a batting of the eyelids from Team McGregor, I think you would have found that Brendan would have paid probably about 20 million for Callum McGregor back 4 years ago. Now, do I still think he could command 12 million if there was an audience for it? Yeah, I do. The Kyogo one's interesting, Regan. He's 29, and a lot of people's minds, that's old. I tell these bastards to shut up.
No,
it kills me. It kills me.
He's a good player, and he scored a great goal against Atletico Madrid, and he did. Scored in the Champions League as well this season. He scored big goals against Rangers, which people look at as well. I'd probably say he's the
Here's another question for you, Regan. Who's the highest valued then? not just over 12 million, but who's the highest value? Who could Celtic, if there was an auction on all our players today, who would go for the highest amount?
I would probably say Rio Hatate, but if you're talking about this season, it needs to be Matt O'Reilly, simply for the fact that he got his second Denmark call-up. He's played for Denmark. He's playing really well in Scotland. And obviously, £10 million was talked about in the summer going to the English Championship. So I think you're looking for Matt O'Reilly. I think you're looking for crazy money.
I think it's O'Reilly, mate. I think, do you know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Connor, I'll come to you. I want your thoughts on this. I think you're right, Regan, when you boil it down to O'Reilly or Hatate. I think they're the two most valuable assets on the park. Lawwell, again, not to go carry on that, fuck it. He was kind of going on about how much value there was in the Celtic team at this present moment. I don't see as much value in this Celtic team as I've seen in previous versions. I think Brendan's Mark 1. I think after this first season there, you think of what Dembele, the 20 million fee that he ended up going for, and that's purely because it was a last day deal that had to get done. I think prime Dembele after season 1 had already elevated himself to £25 million. Cal McGregor at that point, as we've just discussed, would have been a £20 million player if Brendan had his way, even a few years later. I think there was a lot. Kieran Tierney went for 25 million. That team, Stuart Armstrong, only a year left in his deal, 7 million. There seems to be in that one, I think there was more value than this one. I don't think this is as valuable a team, but notwithstanding that, if left with, let's say it's Hatate and O'Reilly, Connor, who are the highest values, I'm on the side that O'Reilly would command the most because his international cap, albeit only one, but if he's in the mix with a European team, it's very much in vogue compared with the Japanese team. 2 European bidders. Now, out with Europe, we're not going to get massive bids other than Saudi. That could, if there was a Saudi interest in Hatate, then lead to a higher bid than you'd get for O'Reilly. But in my opinion, I think O'Reilly probably carries the higher market value in the I call it real world. It's not really the real world, but you know what I mean. In European terms, I think O'Reilly holds the higher market value, with Saudi being the joker in the pack.
I'd say O'Reilly and Hatate, but I'm going to throw a curveball in there. I'm going to say Carter Vickers is actually worth, I'd say, in my opinion, 20 mil plus.
But do Celtic get more money for Carter Vickers than they do O'Reilly or Hatate?
No, because he's not as fashionable a player. So the thing is, that's the thing, right? You can look at it via a football prism, right? And bear with me on this one. Rio Hatate, excellent player on all this. Matt O'Reilly, equally excellent player. Matt O'Reilly's having the season of his life, just started for playing for Denmark and that, right? The fact that he is, right, bear with me on this, just 2 seconds, bear with me on this. The fact that he's a handsome bastard who looks like he could look like a runway model will also add to his value potentially. Because think about if he's
modern world, mate. It's a modern world.
If he's a 20, 25
Totally
million plus player, you can launch kits and fashion lines and adverts.
He brings his brand. Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's overlooked by a lot of people. I think you're spot on with that, by the way.
Because it's just the way that modern, the media and that all works that way. Look, we've all had a look at Matt O'Reilly and are like, fuck me, you could be the next James Bond, son. Because he's that, classically handsome, good looking. And that goes a long way, as well as your marketability in this kind of game. There's a reason why Johnny Hayes hasn't reached the fucking peak of his career, has he? Because he looks like a crater at Hiroshima. Fuck me. And Matt O'Reilly is a handsome devil. And that can go a long way in his market value, right?
I agree with that.
Romelu Lukaku
the O'Reilly
is
part.
doing adverts for Calvin Klein, doing underwear and all the rest of it. You could see a future where Matt O'Reilly's doing shit for Versace and all the rest of it. And that adds to his value. And I'll probably get fucking clipped by fucking 4 lads in a fucking...
It's not going to get
lads had a
clipped.
dream and all that. But it's true. because the way that the modern marketing works, right, is everything. Everything comes into play. Everything comes into play. His marketability, his personality, his footballing ability, the fact he scores goals, the fact he just become an international for Denmark. All of it comes into play. It's all this mad concoction that comes into it, right, that adds to his value. So right now, most valuable player is Matt O'Reilly. Last season, you would never have said that. You would have said it was Rio Hatate or Jota or whoever. But right now, it's Matt O'Reilly. And honestly, if he left, right, if Matt O'Reilly left in January or
I made my first pint as well, Mark.
Are you on it? Is he on it?
oh,
He
man.
said a Bud Light. He said a Bud Light.
Oh my god.
No, with a couple of Stellas, I know. Didn't be cheeky. No, but it all comes together. So it's really I would really like to think that we can. I'd see the thing is, right, we're talking about potential market values now, right? What are we actually going to get offered for these teams? And in the cold light of day, what are we going to get offered in the future for your, like, say, if it comes in, hypothetically, your Maedas, your Kyogos, your Matt O'Reillys, your Hatatis, right?
Over £12 million, that's the point.
I know, but realistically, I'm telling you, the only reason Jota went for so much money is because he went to fucking Saudi. If Saudi
No,
would have come in,
I disagree, mate. No, Jota was going to get
I'm not telling you, wasn't he? I'm not telling you.
Jota was handsome.
Jota was going to go for higher. Come on.
Jota was good looking.
For somewhere in Europe.
I know that you look that photo shooting the brazen head did him some favours, right?
Right, Mark, talk to me. I know you'll say none of them are worth over 12 million, right? We've done all this shit.
No,
I'm
surprising.
joking.
Well, I think the obvious.
Who do you think that? Go for it.
Obviously, Matt O'Reilly. I think he plays for a fashionable country. I think a Danish international just.
There is a fashionable. I agree with that.
And he's spoke about quite a lot. I know that Regan's pal, would you call him again? That transfer guru. He said that he's going to go for big bucks. He's seen Stephen Craig speak about him the other day there, and I think he has got a lot of attention. But so you're talking a lot of money. Big clap for ugly people. I'll keep my hands far apart then. Matt O'Reilly, I do think, by the way, something I never thought into when he mentioned it there. I don't see a big value in. I don't try to be the usual Mark, but I don't see a big value in this squad either. But we have good players, and you know, but give Rodgers a year because you might see a Palmer going for 15 million. So you don't know yet, and we've not signed yet. So the players we sign normally tend to double in price overnight when they put a select tap on. But that's a good point. But hi, Matt O'Reilly. I do think as well. But you're still talking 8, 9, 10 million pound for Carter Vickers minimum. So there is money back on him as well.
Oh God, yeah.
Definitely, and I dare say that. Now this is something that will get fucking moaned at, but I think the Johnston bubbles burst. I don't think people are talking about him going to AC Milan anymore. I think he's leveled out a wee bit, Arthur Johnson, and I think his last season's kind of like died off. You know what I mean? But nah, Matt O'Reilly, of course, Bhoycie. But I think Rio Hatate, I think he put all his eggs in one basket. I'm convinced that he didn't sign until after the window closed because he thought he was getting a move. But it was the wrong thing to do, Bhoycie, because I think his stock has been doing dramatically. I don't think he's going to be getting mentioned in many boardrooms now because he's formed for Celtic in the Scottish Premier League, which, let's be honest, is a farmers' league in a lot of people's minds. He's been pretty poor, mate. He's hardly been turning up in Scotland. Whereas Matt O'Reilly, he started the season, I wasn't that impressed with him, but he shut me up pretty smartly. He has been running the show. So when players who are really good run the show, they stand out even in a bad league like yours. But when you stand out in a Celtic team, when you get a manager like Brendan Rodgers who knows players,
yes,
and you stand out in his team, normally it means you're a level above. You know what I mean?
I agree.
You mentioned Dembele. I mean, I still to this day think that guy his career was probably even destined higher for Leon. But I mean, he won a medal with Atletico Madrid, so he couldn't have been that bad. But Nah, of course, back to your question. Matt O'Reilly, and if anybody's going to be close to him, I think it would probably be Rio Hattati, but I think his level of club is a lot lower than what he was looking at in
Dropping.
big time, mate.
I think that's fair.
I think maybe his attitude as well, Bhoycie. I'm not sure.
Well, that perception's one thing, and we'd probably be jumping the gun on it a wee bit to question it, but I can understand very much why it comes into question based on it. Right, we're going to wrap up, but we're going to do this with Glasgow Celtic Glasgow champions. Henrik Larsson played 105 times for Sweden. He was booked twice. Both bookings came at the World Cup finals. Can anyone name the two teams that Henrik got booked against? So it's thinking about who Sweden played.
England, and I'm going to say England, and I know they beat Italy. I'm going to say England and Italy.
England and Italy. I like England. I think it was England at the Euros, though. No, England at the 2002 World Cup, yes. And then what about... He was at 94 as well, but I can't imagine
they finished third that season.
I finished third. He scored in the third place playoff. Forget that.
He's got...
England
and Bulgaria, was that the Euros as well?
Senegal.
He's too good to be arguing with fucking Senegal.
They put them out. Senegal put them out.
And do you know who I blame for that? Is Zlatan. He was free 1-on-1 with the keeper and could have squared it to Henrik Larsson. And at that time, it was a golden goal rule. You score and you win.
Right.
And he took a shot and missed. If he passed that Larsson's tapping it in England, and Sweden are through to the quarters or semis, whatever it was. So
Zlatan's a prick, but
he is. He's a bit
I like him. He's
I like the fact that he was like, what was it he said? He was like growing up. He was like Henrik Larsson was God or something like that.
He said he was known as Henke. He says, but I only knew him as God. He said it was the biggest honor of my career to get to play with him.
Oh, he's a prick.
Honestly,
when
you read his autobiography, it's like the way he talks about Henrik is like, there's the player.
He thinks he's the best player he's ever played. I don't think he's even in the top 100, to be honest with you. I wouldn't even mention him in the top players.
Zlatan? Really?
Well,
does
he get into a Barcelona team that are top class under Pep? Nah.
His first booking came at 2002 World Cup, so it's England, Argentina, Nigeria, Senegal. One of those four he got booked against. Then he's next. He played the 2006 World Cup, didn't he? Of course he did. He played at that.
England, quite England. Because that's kind of one.
Right. You need to tell us now, Celtic Glasgow champions, because we're wrapping up. It's time to go. I've got places to be, people to see, things to do, trouble to cause, mischief to make.
Do my best impression of that blind lassie who was in the chase and just say pass.
You're passing. Neighbour is passing out, I think.
Champions. Give an answer. Do you remember you and me Albi scored against England the week we signed him? Remember that?
Argentina, and wait for this. Trinidad and Tobago.
What
That's the 2006 World Cup. I'm sure Dwight York played holding midfield for Trinidad and Tobago at that World Cup.
Oh, jeez.
I think Latape was still in the squad. He was playing for Falkirk at the time.
Oh, so he
it's the worst question of all time, Celtic Glasgow champions, but please do stay in the bus. Everybody else, keep your eye on the board. Regan, Mark, Connor, happy hangover. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your night. It's brilliant to have you on the T.N.F. Thank you.
Good night.